because we do not track the costings. We
Mhm.
need valuations and auditing of the costings.
Okay. Now, regarding Horizon 3, would you just want it to end since ang kanyang sunset provision states it ends in 2027? Or do we need to do an amendment by this
We
year?
need to do an amendment, Your Honor,
The
because
repeal.
priorities may change overnight.
Okay. So, to make it very clear,
If it's a horizon, ma'am, the problem is your
Yeah.
priorities are set in stone,
Okay.
regardless of the threat you are facing.
Mhm.
So
kailangan
we'd like
talaga,
pong alisin.
okay,
Ah.
hindi dapat mag-antay
Opo.
sa 2027 sa sunset provision.
Hindi na po, para mabigyan
Okay.
din po ng sense of urgency pati yung budgeting process. So project management na po ang magiging exercise ng Armed Forces, ng DBM at ng DOF. And project financing po ang magiging iskema.
Senator Loren, if I may. Sir, hindi nyo natanong nagpag-usapan namin ni Chairman ngayon eh. Hindi nyo natanong sa BCDA bakit yung the purpose, bakit bininta natin yung Fort Bonifacio is for AAP modernization, di ba? Tapos ngayon, the whole fund ng AAP modernization, tiningnan namin ngayon, 8% lang pala ang provided by BCDA. Kakaliit naman lahat nito gagaling sa GAA. Ang intention, bininta yan, o bininta mo, pinarintahan?
Rentahan.
Pinarintahan yan para ma-fund ang AAP modernization. Tapos ngayon, 8% lang pala nabibigay nila.
Kaya po ang leksyon dito, wala pong scheme talaga na pwede mag-finance ng modernization of any armed force dahil yan ay sunk cost. Yan ay sovereign cost ng bansa. Ang BCDA na scheme ay partially lang na ma-fill sana yung gap. Kaso dahil hindi binenta yung lupa at nangapital pa yung mga nag-develop, natural, babawi pa ng costs yan bago magkaroon ng sharing ang lalo na pag joint venture ang pinasukan. So actually yung joint use minsan ng facility hindi rin magandang ideya dahil nakokompromiso ang security. Pangalawa po, ang one time na benta ng major asset for modernization hindi po magandang paradigm in the long run. Yeah, and right now, ang leksyon po ng mundo is the only way na ma-secure mo yung bansa mo is to assume that everything you will be needing a strong defense backbone at any one time for any geopolitical or internal purpose and lalo na po sa climate change.
We appreciate that question, and it's really, it boggles the mind because I've been sitting here since 1998 and you talk about the conversion law, etc., the AFP Modernization Act since 1995, and I was here since 98. And hindi pa funded, and nga, kakarampot na portion ang mapupunta, yun ang dahilan kung bakit nag-privatization. So really, may karapatan silang magalit.
And Your Honor, if you privatize it for private purposes,
Yes.
the goal will be return on investment naturally. Fair enough, kasi mga kapital yung mga tao. But that will not address the sunk cost that you need as a painful but necessary expense of any country, like your police force. You cannot let it be to a modernization because that peace and order is an essential that every citizen needs to pay for, actually.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, I go to the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy on the underfunding. There's a proposal of 151 billion for 2026. To be fair to DBM, they approved 142. So there's a 9.1 billion or 6% underfunding. So this reduction raises concerns again over the deferred capability programs and operational support under Horizon 3. So may I know from the Commanding General of the Philippine Army which specific Army programs or procurement items were scaled down or postponed due to the 9.1 billion shortfall? But if you're not affected at all by this NEP provision at hindi na pagbigay, so just say so, then you don't have to explain kung di nyo kailangan. And what measures has the Army taken to reprioritize within the approved funding level to minimize operational impact? Just also state even your MOE. No, to be fair, the MOE increased by 1 billion for 2026. Yet 483.7 million was for inflationary adjustments with limited visibility and actual gains in operational capacity. So how much of the 1 billion increase in MOE translates to real operational enhancement, or is this just inflationary adjustments? So may I hear from the Army, please?
Madam Chair,
Thank you.
General Nafarete, ma'am. As far as the our PS, the negative or the amount that we needed but unfunded, these are for additional staffing for civilian human resource and additional personnel, military personnel for additional mission on CADC. So these are the PS that we need to be funded.
Kung gagawin nyo kung wala kayong 9 billion for
For the
2026? What kind of programs will be scaled down? How will it affect your mobility, your training, your logistical support?
Most of the activities that were unfunded are on our UN Peacekeeping Development Program, ma'am, amounting to 3.062 million. And then some of our training facilities, such as the construction of our CRTA Phase 1, the infra projects from the Armored Division, and some of the sustainment capability enhancement program. However, this can be this will not affect really that malaki, ma'am, yung aming 2026.
So thank you. That's good to know. So to be fair, yung binigay po sa inyo sa NEP ay hindi naman magiging malaking problema sa Army sa inyong performance po on the ground.
Yes, ma'am. But I think if we can have that added budget, we can further capacitate also our forces, ma'am, and improve the living condition of our personnel.
Thank you very much, General Nafarete. I proceed to the Philippine Air Force. Yes, General Cordura. Half of the Philippine Air Force MOE, 17.47 billion or 58% is devoted to repairs and maintenance of newly delivered aircraft and facilities. So this suggests that modernization gains are increasing the long-term cost of sustaining a more complex and equipment-heavy force. So this trend concerns about whether sustainment planning is keeping pace with acquisition, since most of this is for maintenance. So I'd like to know, how does the PAF ensure that maintenance and logistics systems are adequately funded and modernized alongside asset acquisition? Are there performance audits being done to determine whether frequent repairs stem from operational wear or the procurement quality, etc.? So I'd like to know again, since more than half is devoted to repairs and maintenance, saan po papasok ang modernization and acquisition, since ang ating MOE ay puro pang maintain lang kung ano ang meron po tayo, 58%. Thank you.
To the Honorable Chair, the Philippine Air Force is first of all is actually, ma'am, very glad that our MOE for the fiscal year 2026 has been increased by 9.16% actually, and for the Philippine Air Force and on how the changes in the senior leaders DAS planning stages that we conduct in terms of modernization planning, it's already a full system package. When you identify capability to be procured, it is already the infrastructure, the subsystems, and the sustenance for the platform is already part and parcel of the proposal. So the right now the new platforms and the funding requirement to maintain it has been addressed satisfactorily in terms of our aircraft to maintain requirement. That's why right now, ma'am, we're maintaining around 70% of our air assets for operations. So that's all in all the operational tempo that we have. For procurement of new capabilities, this is addressed in coordination with our technical working group as it liaises with the capability acquisition at the department level. So the identifications of our prioritization of the projects now for the Air Force, Army, Navy are competes for the prioritization in terms of the CADC requirement for defense. Yes, ma'am.
The 58% being used or devoted to repair and maintenance of newly delivered aircraft and facilities, is this usual po? Or are there inherent defects in what we procure?
Actually, yes, ma'am. It's part of the
This is almost,
normal operations that we
60%.
since cost of operations and cost of maintain aircraft year in year out increases gradually and progressively. So this eats up a lot of our maintenance requirement, but there are interventions to optimize what we are given in terms of the budget for maintenance. But yeah, that's why we enter to modalities like performance-based logistics and etc.
What are the underfunded requirements? Because I see in your 2026 budget, 73.17, only 59 billion or 80% was included in the NEP. That leaves 14 billion or nearly 1/5 of your request to be funded. And this shortfall could delay key capability programs under Horizon 3 of the AFP modernization plan. So may I know, insofar as the Air Force is concerned, what are the specific projects, if any, or acquisitions that possibly would be scaled down or deferred due to the underfunded 14 billion gap from your presentation to DBM and your actual NEP? Thank you.
For the unfunded requirement, man, we have prioritized.
Before you answer, I would like to acknowledge the
Yes.
arrival of Senator Bongo. Thank you.
Chair. To
Continue,
the
continue.
honorable senators, ma'am, the Philippine Air Force has prioritized its unfunded requirement, and amongst those that will not be funded or wanting of funding are the following. No? First is the strategic basing requirement. That is the development, as mentioned earlier, of our forward operating base in Balabac, wherein we require 1.1 billion, but the requirement was the funding was 500 million, and we are supposed to develop an main operating base in Lawag, Ilocos Norte, but it was unfunded. The requirement there is 3.1 billion. For the operational basis and system development, there are a number of identified facilities that we require. These are more on the infrastructure side. And the last one, or the fourth one, will be on research and development, ma'am. The enhancement of our Air Force research and development capability.
So Lawag and Balabac,
Balabac, ma'am.
yung dalawa.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-mm. And this comprises the underfunding by 20% more, yung 14 billion na hindi binigay. And these are all part of Horizon 3. Okay, I just wanted to put that on record. Thank you very much to General Cordura.
Thank you very much.
Senator Loren, before you leave, habang kausap itong Air Force, tanungin ko lang kung pwede bang yung eroplano hindi siya night flying capable, pero ang piloto night flying capable. Pwede ba yun? Paki-explain nga.
We have before, sir, the Vampire Squadron of the UH-1H. The aircraft was barely minimal to perform night operations, but it was reconfigured in terms of cockpit orientation and lighting, and we trained the pilots for night operations.
Okay, kasi na-experience ko nung Marawi Siege. Sakay ko na helicopter gabi na, lumipad kami from Marawi, papuntang Cagayan de Oro. Madilim na. Tinanong ko yung piloto, not flying capable ba itong chopper mo? Sabi niya, hindi sir. Pero ang piloto, night flying capable. O pwede ba yun?
Your Honor, these are the Vampire Squadron.
Yes, tinanong ko piloto. What do you mean by that? Sabi na, sir, ganito lang yan. Yung chopper ni Presidente Duterte, night flying capable yun. Gawin natin, sundan ko lang yung ilaw ng puwit niya, sir. Okay na tayo, safe na tayo. Ma'am, kanyon, those were extraordinary times. Gira sa Marawi yun eh. Kaya yung piloto natin doon, talagang lahat ng diskarte ginagawa. Kaya magaling yung piloto na yun. Kaya pagbaba ko, binigyan ko ng pang snacks. Dahil masaya ako eh. Dahil nakarating kami ng Cagayan de Oro, gabing-gabi na.
Actually, Your Honor, yung mas importante, kung instrument capable yung eroplano at limited visibility capable yung eroplano. Kasi kung gabi, nung araw, before martial law, Your Honor, pwede lumipat ng gabi. Kahit civilian na helicopter. The night flying restriction was a martial law restriction na bawal lumipat ng gabi. At pati nung araw, bago martial law, pwede kang lumipad na walang flight plan. Basta visual flight rules.
Tapos isang instance pa sir, sumakay ako doon, bumisita ako sa Marawi. Paglipad namin, masyadong mababa, over the coconut tree tops lang. Sabi ko, ang daming kalaban diyan sa baba. Tapos bakit ang baba ng lipad natin? Sabi sir, mas maganda sir mababa dahil pag nakita nila sir, nandun na tayo. Whereas kung mataas tayo, kita-kita tayo, pwede tayo sniper mga importin nila, kaya rin tamaan. Tama na yun, sa baba yung flight sir, kasi pag wala na, nandoon na, malaya na. Kaya yan yung mga magagaling natin piloto. Diskarte. Ma'am, go ahead ma'am, Loren, continue.
Maganda po ang commercial break yung mga anecdotes nyo. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. We proceed with the Navy. Our FOIC Vice Admiral Espeleta. Thank you. Well, the capital outlay rose by 7%, 8.3 billion. And this, it is said, is focused on ongoing maritime domain awareness upgrades and base infrastructure, but not, again, new acquisitions. So may I know what key procurement or infrastructure projects are prioritized under the 2026 capital outlay, and which planned modernization milestones risk being deferred due to your limited capital outlay growth? Although it's been increased, are there any procurement, acquisition, or infrastructure projects that will be affected because of the limited or modest increase in capital outlay of the Navy, if any, just if any? Thank you.
Magandang hapon po uli, ma'am. Vice Admiral Espeleta, the Flag Officer in Command of the Philippine Navy. Una-una po, nagpapasalamat kami sa additional 8.3 billion pesos or 16.3% higher budget compared to 2025. But again, ma'am, we proposed a total of 77 billion supposedly, but only 59, I think, was allocated, and we have a variance of 17 billion pesos. And then the projects that were affected are the multi-year enhancement of maritime domain awareness systems. Not all were funded. Enhancement of naval air wing capability, our naval air wing, and the capability enhancement program for the Philippine Navy shipyard, as well as some portions of our PN missile system support systems. So these are very critical, ma'am, and hopefully madagdagan po.
Mr. Chair, lahat ng tinanong ko po ay bagamat merong modest adjustment yung iba kulang mula sa NEP, ay kailangan ng dagdag. That's my point. Kailangan palagi ng, most of the time, ng amendment ng senator, ng chair ng Committee on Finance o ng Standing Committee o ng Vice Chair o maski sinong senador na ang mandato ay mag-amend ng budget, right? I set that premise and I put the NEP provision and their ask on how their operations will be affected, and even if they are disciplined enough to say this is enough for the meantime, but we see that the operational capability, the logistical support, the training, and the acquisition of new equipment, etc., puro maintenance lang, maintenance diba? Ganun na lang tingin natin, puro maintenance. Pero yung major acquisition, wala talaga. Yeah, I put that on record because really there's a need to support not just MOE, but really capital outlay. Now, my question is, and I go to the Secretary, lahat ng mga binanggit po nila na hindi kasama sa NEP, will you embark on loans or foreign assisted, I don't know how, programs to fill that need of new acquisitions? How will we proceed?
For
from
new
here?
acquisitions,
Yes.
Your Honor, yes. For infrastructure, no. No.
How about new acquisitions, not
Yes, Your Honor,
infrastructure?
we will need because of the pricing.
Mm.
It depends also, Your Honor. If it's a small ticket item, then it's fine. But rarely do you see a small ticket item which you cannot, which will work outside the ambit of a bigger system. So the component, it will just be a component of a whole system.
So, I have more questions, and just like Senator JV, abot ng 6:00 ng gabi to, but Sen Bongo is also here. I'd like to give him the chance, and I take note of the Secretary's message that he had to leave at 2:30. It's 2:40. I thank you for your very candid answers, and allow me to convey my more than wholehearted support for the whole DND and the Armed Forces of the Philippines, to which I proudly belong. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Loren. Senator Bongo, you have questions or manifestation?
Support lang po, always naman po, Mr. Chair, Senator Bato, Senator Loren, Senator Win, our chairperson sa Committee on Finance. of course, to our Secretary of National Defense, Sec. Gibo Teodoro. As Vice Chairperson of the Committee on National Defense, I want to manifest my unwavering support for the proposed budget of the Department of National Defense and its attached agencies for fiscal year 2026, along with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I commend the brave men and women behind these organizations. Kung ano pong kailangan po na suporta, dito ay sumusuporta po ako sa ating chairperson para po sa DND. Noon pa man, for the past 9 years po, no, sa likod po ng mabigat na mandato ang ating sandatahang lakas na lagi pong nasa frontline upang masiguro ang ating kaligtasan sa loob at labas ng ating bansa. Kung kaya lang, Mr. Chair, alam nyo naman po na napakahalaga po ng ating Armed Forces of the Philippines. Sa panahon po ni Pangulong Duterte, 2018, pinaglaban ho natin na madoble yung sahod ng entry position ng ating mga uniform personnel. Hindi lang po Armed Forces, kasama na dyan ang Police, Coast Guard, Bureau of Fire, BJMP. At kayo yung hero ng pandemya, hindi po natin mararating ito, kinaroroonan natin, kundi po dahil sa inyong sakripisyo at serbisyo. Panahon ng pandemya, panahon po sa giyera sa Marawi, sa Hulo. At naalala ko noon, sinabi ni former President Duterte 2017, kung hindi niya matupad yung pinangako niyang madoble yung sahod ng entry position ng ating mga sundalo, magre-resign siya. Alam po ni former Finance Chair Senator Loren yon. Sabi niya kahit na hindi maipasa yung train law, unahin lang yung sa sundalo. Ganun po yung kanyang ginawa noon dahil alam niya napakahirap po ng trabaho ng isang sundalo. Iba sa inyo ay nakatrabaho po niya, mga major o kapitan pa kayo noon. At hindi rin po tayo pumayag sa proposed mandatory contributions para sa active military personnel para sa kanilang pension dahil kung ano yung ikakaltas sa sweldo ninyo, katumbas na po yun ng isang sakong bigas. Napakabigat po yun sa isang ordinaryong mga sundalo. As the lifeblood of our nation's defense and security, our soldiers have often faced dangerous situations that jeopardizes their lives and limbs. For these reasons, I principally author the Public Act 12177 or the Free Legal Assistance to MUPs Act, which provides free legal aid to MUPs involved in cases related to the performance of duty. Napakahalaga po nito na in line of duty ay suportado po ang ating mga sundalo at kapulisan. Gusto ko lang po makahingi ng update tungkol dito. And also as a health advocate, we also want to ensure the health and well-being of our soldiers and we want them to have accessible medical services. Isa po ang Veterans Medical Center sa government hospital na mayroon pong malasakit center. At isa rin po ang VMMC sa sinuportahan ni dating Pangulong Duterte pagdating sa operations at equipment. Nabasa ko po, medyo bumaba yata ang budget ng VMMC for 2026. Sana po ay masuportahan po ito. Bukod po sa suporta para sa ating mga personnel at sundalo, patuloy rin po ang ating suporta sa pagpapalakas ng AFP sa pamamagitan ng revised AFP Modernization Program. Isa po sa rason kung bakit hindi po ako pumirma sa BICAM report for 2025 budget dahil nakita ko nabawasan po ang pondo ng AFP Modernization Program from 50 billion sa 2025 NEP naging 35 billion po. We will continue to support your modernization for 2026 with the leadership of our chairperson. We will do what is necessary to provide AFP its sufficient funding. Yan po parati kong tinatanong rin po kay Chairperson Senator Bato de la Rosa, paano natin matulungan ng ating armed forces. I also want to make of my record for the Office of the Civil Defense or OCD. Last Congress po, we already passed the priority bill of the OCD, which is the mandatory evacuation centers. Ito po yung tinawag ng Ligtas Pinoy Centers Act. Ako po ay principal author and co-sponsor ng Republic Act 12076. I would like to remind the OCD as the Secretariat of the NDRRMC, which is the lead agency in the implementation of this act, to ensure and oversee its full implementation. Napansin ko po sa kaikot ko sa buong Pilipinas, Ang hirap pong mabiktima ng bagyo, lindol ngayon, bagyo, lindol, putok ng bulkan, sunog, iniikutan ko talaga yan. Kaya sa hulo noon, may sunog doon, pinuntahan ko. Napakahalaga po ng evacuation center dahil minsan nagagamit po yung mga evacuation, yung mga eskwelahan as evacuation centers, yung mga gym nagagamit po as evacuation centers. So sana po ay mabigyan po ito ng prioridad ng DPWH, itong evacuation center. Batas na po ito, Ligtas Pinoy Centers Act. Kesa naman po napupunta sa mga flood control na ginagawa pong gatasan ng ilan. Sana po ibigyan ng prioridad ito at narinig ko kanina, sabi po ni Secretary Ted, ni Secretary Gibo, na ilalagay po ito sa mga strategic areas no, para hindi naman po rin mabahain. So kayo na pong mas nakakaalam ang atin pong OCD na ilagay po ito sa strategic areas na mapakinabangan po ng ating mga kababayan at safe po sila, malinis, maayos, na meron pong evacuation center na hindi po magkasakit yung mga bata. Napapansin ko sa kaikot ngayon, talagang hirap ng sitwasyon nila pag wala silang maayos na evacuation center, nagkakasakit po. At isa rin po sa sinulong ko matagal na, ito pong Department of Disaster Resilience. Sana po ay magkaroon ng isang departamento na nakatutok sa mga disaster-related na mga pangyayari, no? Na secretary level sana, kumari, dahil ang hirap po, no, pag alis ng bagyo, minsan naiiwan lang po yung direktor. Iba talaga yung merong ka-level nyo po na iiwan po doon. Bago dumating yung bagyo, preposition of goods, coordination with agencies, pag alis ng bagyo, restoration of normalcy kaagad. Makipag-coordinate sa DPWH, sa DOE, sa kuryente, sa lahat-lahat po. Anyway, pasado na po itong Ligtas Pinoy Centers Act. Implementation na lang po ang kailangan dito sa ibang mga mandatory evacuation center. Iba naman po yung sinabi kong Department of Disaster Resilience. Kung gusto niyo lang po na magkaroon ng sariling departamento. At since kayo po ang nakatutok sa disaster risk reduction at management, I support any legislation that would promote the welfare of our disaster personnel. In fact, I also filed Senate Bill 669 to provide hazard pay to disaster volunteers and workers. I also filed Senate Bill 173. Ito po yung Department of Disaster Resilience. In the future, baka maaring makonsider po ito. Mas mapalakas pa ang ating paghahanda at pagresponde tuwing may kalamidad. Mr. Chair, again, I just want to reiterate, full support po ako sa ating sundalo, sa ating Armed Forces of the Philippines and its attached agencies. Nandirito lamang po ako. Kahit isang boto lamang po, tutulong po ako sa inyo. Full support po ako always sa ating sundalo. They deserve not only our admiration but also the assurance of delivering our legislative mandate in crafting laws and policies and supplementing them with appropriate budgetary assistance, which in return promotes peacekeeping and security to our nation. Once again, I support the Department of National Defense, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and its attached agencies. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Bongo.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead, Senator Gatchalian.
Dahil nabanggit po yung Ligtas Pinoy, I mentioned to Chairman De La Rosa, meron 1.8 billion pesos for Ligtas Pinoy, no? And the implementing agency of Ligtas Pinoy is OCD. Pero ang budget nasa DPWH. So baka magkaroon tayo ng unfinished evacuation center. So tinatanong ko kay Chairman De La Rosa kung ang OCD ba, this is a policy question, no? That I will throw to DND. You can answer us now or get back to us. Mas maganda ba na ilagay na lang yung 1.8 sa OCD or somewhere in DND para
No.
kayo na magpatayo ng evacuation center?
I think it's better that because the evacuation centers will be a function of feedback from the PDRRMOs where the safe migration areas are. So it's an OCD common effort in getting the location, Your Honor, and the specific characteristics of an evacuation center per location, whether it's seaside, mountainside, or whatnot. But the implementing agency, I urge that it be the DPWH, subject to monitoring, so that we capacitate the organization rather than weaken the organization further because of the doings of some well, misfits.
I'm not very sure kasi kung ang OCD merong capability, engineering capability.
It does not,
Yeah,
Your
that's
Honor.
why-
That's
that's
why
why,
it
yeah.
just coordinates a collaborative effort. That's why the bill also mentioned of a disaster resilience department may not be apropos at this time. Why? Because the budget's a zero-sum game, and you give to one, you take away from another. So the OCD now is building up its capability to coordinate, and then you tap the assets of line agencies and make them work in a coordinated manner.
Mr. Chair,
Well taken.
Yeah.
baka malipat nyo, madagdagan nyo yung budget ng evacuation centers dahil batas na po ito at mandatory po ito ilalagay sa mga syudad at munisipyo. Napakaliit po ng 1.8 billion.
Kailangan, di ba, Senator Go, tignan natin kasi baka bawat syudad, kung buong syudad yung, like sa Pangasinan, exactly nga, sinabi ko. Magmula Dagupan, Lingayen, kung talagang bagyo galing sa West Philippine Sea, hanggang San Carlos, baha na yan. So, ang layo. So, dapat pag-aralan ng ang actually lead agency na magsasabi kung saan pwede ang Mines and Geosciences Bureau kasi sila ang may geospatial na capability na masabi saan lugar babaha, saan ligtas. So, dun ilalagay.
Ay phase naman po ito, sir, yata itong pag-implement ng mandatory evacuation center. Mas alam niyo po yon, alam ng OCD kung saan dapat ilagay, saan safe at mapapakinabangan. Mas mabuti na pong ito yung mga evacuation center mapapakinabangan kaysa naman po dun sa, sabi ko nga, sa mga flood control na ginagawa pong gatasan at hindi po napapakinabangan ng taong bayan.
Actually, sir, just for information, isa rin pong kailangan yan area ngayon ay sa Negros dahil sa Canlaon. So maghahanap tayo ng site, kailangan i-acquire yung site and then lagyan ng permanent relocation. Yun po ang masakit, yung permanent relocation.
Long
Yung mga-
term po, Mr. Chair, long term po ito dahil 1,449 municipalities tayo. More than 100 cities sa buong Pilipinas. Baka siguro sa 10 taon pa may implement yan. Importante by phase malagay sa mga strategic areas.
Pero mayroon naman siguro municipalities na hindi disaster prone. Baka pwedeng wala na hindi sila lagyan doon siguro. Tingnan lang natin, gagawin ng mapa siguro kung saan yung disaster prone areas palagi doon ang
Yun po
lagyan.
ang ginagawa
Diba, sir?
namin, Mr. Chair, ngayon.
OCD.
At siyempre, may resistance din yung mga LGUs na yon dahil tatanggap sila ng tao na hindi nila kababayan. Kaya napaka-sensitibo ng trabaho dahil it takes a lot of yung convincing.
Pero sir, yung ating mga regional offices ng OCDs, mayroon ba silang Bids and Awards Committee? May mga back ba yan sila?
Wala ho yung mga back. Kaya nga DPWH, pag sila ho ang mag-i-implement, tayo ho magtuturo, pati yung disenyo. Ang council po ang gagawa. Full council.
Thank you, sir. Meron ka pa?
Yun lang po.
Please continue.
Kaya sinusuportahan natin ito dahil batas na po ito eh. Importanteng mas mapakinabangan po ng ating mga kababayan. Lalo-lalo na po yung mga evacuees na wala talagang pagsisilungan tuwing even pagputok ng Taal Volcano, pupunta sila sa ibang mga bayan na mayroong mga evacuation center. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Kaya nga, kung kagaya sa sir, Bugo, Cebu, kung meron kang evacuation center doon na itatayo, ang mga tao ayaw matulog sa loob, doon sa kalsada, tabing kalsada, dahil pag lindol, walang malaglag, hindi sila mahulugan ng something. Di ba? So, mag-isip siguro tayo ng evacuation center din na for earthquake, kung paano yun. Kasi sa tabing kalsada lang sila talaga natutulog eh.
Diba, depende sa disaster na anong disaster prone sila sa area na yon.
Yeah, thank you, Senator Bungo. Before you second round, Senator Wen, wala na? Meron lang, before we release you, meron lang nagpadala ng question na isang kasama natin na wala dito. Please ask General Browner, meron daw, yapon in question, does he consider the recent protest just a mere political noise? Because he made a call to AFP to disregard political noise. Please inform him that this is not only a political noise, but it is a call for accountability and reform and change. Yung pinaparati lang niya sa'yo, baka...
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Your Honor, I was actually talking to the troops yesterday in line with the 35th anniversary of the Code of Ethics of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So yun po yung konteksto. That under the Code of Ethics of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Armed Forces is non-partisan when it comes to politics. So ang sinabi ko lang po, mag-focus lang tayo sa trabaho. Huwag na tayo makinig masyado sa nangyayari political.
So you're not referring to the recent protest ng
Hindi
mga
naman
tao?
po, hindi naman po. I'm just reminding all the soldiers, kahapon po nangyari yon, yung flag raising ceremony namin. It involved all the units of the armed forces kasi naka-online po kami. Maski yung mga nandun sa Mindanao na mga units, this was a united effort to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Code of Ethics of the AFP, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yun lang po, Your Honor.
Walang problema. Alam ko ito lahat ito, mga tahimik na ito ngayon eh. Hintayin mo mag-retire ito mga ito. Maiingay ito pag mag-retire. Yung kagaya ng mga upper class natin. Pero very legitimate naman yung kanilang gripes din. Sir, the Vice President Security and Protection Group, ni-recall daw? Effective October 4?
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
the group has been abolished and it is under the AFP SPG. So
Pero may iniwan bang tao sa kanya? security?
Meron ho.
Pero yung group lang inabolish.
Inabolish ho as
Si La Chica, tinanggal din. Yung Colonel La Chica.
naka-floating